Hi! Today we're going to do some hollyhocks in watercolors. Here we see the finished product and I'm going to show you the details. Watercolors are interesting. You start with your lights and then you add your darks. There's a lot of different moments where you have to stop one area, let it dry, and go to another area. This is my reference I got out of my garden. I have hollyhocks in the garden. First I draw, just simple drawing shapes, and then the yellow places, that's a resisting thing called masking fluid. I'm going to do all of the background first. I start and I move around the forms, and if I just kind of move with it and don't let any of it dry, then it looks like a very clean, crisp background. As I said, you start with the lights and then you add darks. So here I have this green that I made with some yellow and blue, and then I added a little more darker blue and made it a darker green. Now I'm going to go to the flower. Like I said, I move around and I let things be wet and dry and then add more. So first off, I'm just going to add this light pinkish color. It's pretty much all over the background. Then I'm just dropping in real wet purples and a little bit of yellow that I'm going to let dry for later to add blue and make it green. Here we had the yellow, and you see again a blue on top. That's called glazing, when you add blue on top of yellow to make green. Whereas wet into wet is where you, on your palette, you mix a blue and a yellow together, and that makes green. So watercolors are transparent, so when I add blue on top of this pink, it makes a purple. And that's a good quality of watercolors, to be able to glaze on top of your dry areas. This I like a lot of times because it has this kind of stained glass window look, this transparency, and you see these layers, and it just shows quality in the paint if you use glazing. And then as you see here, I add a little bit of touches of other colors, and they actually mix on the paper. That's called wet into wet, when the blue mixes with the red on the paper, and kind of let the puddles move around. I always say just make it a puddle. It's like skiing. When you're skiing, you control your fall, and when you're watercolors, you control your puddles. So see this, how I'm controlling the puddle. See that big puddle? That's what I like to see, really shiny puddles. But now while that's drying, I'm going around, and you have to make sure the area you take off the masking fluid is completely dry, and that leaves that whites. And I'm going back and I'm making these leaves green by adding the blue on top. So that area I'm using glazing again. That's a blue that I'm putting on top of the yellow and making the green a really fresh green. Yep, I'm doing a lot of different techniques here. And of course I'm putting in darks as I go, because I said again, I start with my lights and go to my darks. Thank you for watching.